you be joining us? Okay then. Hi. Hello everybody, my name is Kimberly. This is Ethel. Isn't she cute? So this is my booktube. Excuse me. So this is my booktube. I'm joining the club. I'm so excited. I am already on BookTok and Bookstagram as Bookish Kimberly, and now this is my Bookish Kimberly YouTube channel. I love it here. I used to be a big reader, like would read a new book pretty much every day when I was in high school, and then I went to college and studied theater and literature, and I read a lot, not for fun, so I kind of stopped reading. So now I'm 3 or 4 years, I don't even know, 3 or 4 years post-grad, and this year I just decided to start reading again, thanks to the Selection series by Kira Cass, which I never read when it was like a thing back in the day. Anyway, I totally should have, like, I don't know how I missed it, but anyway, here I am now. So as you can see, I have a giant stack of books beside me, and this is everything that I've been reading the past like 8 weeks of summer. I haven't been doing much, so I've been reading a lot, and I'm gonna tell you about all the books that I've read in like May, June, and July. So I'll get the not 5-star reads out of the way first, and that is the Summer I Turned Pretty series. I know all of the insta baddies are gonna be mad at me. So I remember when these came out in like 2009, and I thought that they were just a little, excuse you, she just threw her bone on the floor. Anyway, I thought these were like a little too mature for me. I like read the first chapter in a Barnes & Noble, and I was like, I don't want to read this, because I was like 12 or something. Yeah, and it just wasn't my thing at the time, so I read To All the Boys I've Loved Before a few years ago. It was like the only book that I read for fun in college. Anyway, and I really love Jenny Han's writing, and so I picked up these when I found out that the not Netflix, what is it? Amazon Prime series was coming out, and it's fine, and these were fine, but they did not live up to All the Boys, so sorry, but To All the Boys is elite. It's just, this wasn't it. So they were okay. I rated the first one 4 stars, and then the other 2 I rated 3 stars. I really got annoyed with Conrad. I think he's pretty toxic. I don't like Jeremiah. Belly's problematic. So those are my thoughts. I'm sorry to start off negative, but I promise the rest of this is gonna be much better. So read those 3 books, and that was all she wrote. So I've of course been on a Colleen Hoover kick, because that's what TikTok revolves around. So are these the only ones? Oh, I have one more that I'm gonna talk about at the end. But so far I've read 4 Colleen Hoover books just this summer. I've read some more like earlier this year, but I've read 4 this summer, and 3 of them, all of these I rated 4 stars, are November 9, which is not a summer read, but whatever, we'll get over it. Heartbones, which is totally a summer read, and All Your Perfects, which is just sad. I rated all those 4 stars. All Your Perfects is about, trigger warning if you're struggling with infertility. This is about a woman struggling with infertility and her marriage, and how she and her husband save their marriage. So it was very sweet, but it was just mostly sad, and it wasn't what I needed at the time. So I was like, it's a good book, but not my fave. So anyway, next I had Heartbones. I read this on the beach. It was perfect beach read. A little bit of morally gray love interest, like all Colleen Hoover books, but yeah, I liked it. It just wasn't my favorite. 4 stars. I don't really have any complaints. It didn't blow me away. And then November 9, which is also 4 stars, because it didn't blow me away, but I do really like this book. I love the concept. I love Ben. I know that a lot of people don't like Ben, but I think he's sweet. I don't really like Fallon, if you ask me. But anyway, 4 stars. It was great. Just didn't like blow me out of the water. Moving right along, I read Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. I know that this came out quite a while ago, but to be honest with you, I would not read it until it got a new cover, because that orange cover just was not it for me. I have a judgmental personality. I'm sorry, I can't help it. I read it now. It's very good. I rated this 5 stars. I was crying the entire time I read this. It was so good. Friends to lovers is absolutely my favorite trope of all tropes. And yeah, just 10 out of 10, 5 stars. Loved it. If you haven't read it, read it now that it has a cute cover. Highly recommend. And we all know it wouldn't be summer romance without this duology by Tessa Bailey. It Happened One Summer and Hook, Line, and Sinker are the Bellinger Sister series. What are their names? I don't remember their names. This is Piper's book. Piper is the elder sister, and this is Hannah. I literally just read these and I can't remember the names, but I loved these books. So the first one came out, I guess last year, or maybe the year before, and its premise was if Alexis Rose from Schitt's Creek was a book character and moved to a small like boat town in Washington, I think, and yeah, Westport, Washington. I thought I heard a bug. Moving on. So she's in Washington, and this guy, this cutie right here, he's a fisherman. She falls in love, he falls in love. It's super cute. Read it. It's so good. One of the best romances I have ever read, and rather spicy. Rather spicy. This one also, I don't think this one was as spicy as It Happened One Summer, but it was still pretty spicy, and I definitely like It Happened One Summer more, but this was a solid book. Like, if I read this by itself, I would just be like, yeah, great, 5 stars. But comparing it to It Happened One Summer, I do like that one better. But yeah, read them both. They're both great. Are you Hannah or are you Piper? I think I'm more of a Hannah, but I would rather have Brendan than Fox. You know it had to be these. You know it had to be the big 3. This is the collection of Emily Henry books. None of these are related to one another, but they're all just a great summer romance. I think these are from 2020, 2021, and 2022. Pretty sure. But I got them all this spring whenever Book Lovers came out, and I saved them for my vacation because I went on a cruise. So I read these all on the beach in Turks and Caicos, and it was fan-flippin-tastic. So I am gonna do an in-depth review and rating of all these books, but essentially I rated these 2 5 stars. I rated this one 4.8 stars. Just wasn't as good as these 2, but I'm gonna do a whole video talking about that. But essentially, this is enemies to lovers, this is friends to lovers, this is enemies to lovers, and I'm torn on which one of these is my favorite, but I'm gonna do a video about it so I can decide, because I have to decide. They're so good, and she has a new book coming out. I will sell my soul to this woman. So 3 more books in the stack for my summer reads. I guess I'll talk about this one because it's not really like anything else. I really should have saved this for fall, but I kind of read like the first page. I got this in my book of the month box. It's called The Lies I Tell by Julie Clark, and I got this in my book of the month box last month, and I read like the first page when it got here and I couldn't put it down. I read this in one sitting. Like, this was crazy. So this is kind of like Promising Young Woman vibes, where she like seeks revenge on men. There's 2 women in this book, and one of them is a con artist and one of them is a reporter trying to figure out the tea about the con artist. But they kind of team up at the end to get revenge on this man, and wow. If you like Promising Young Woman, you'll definitely like this book. And I just think you'll like this book because it is a whirlwind. It is exciting. It is incredible. 5 freaking stars. Finally, I have my 2 favorite books of the summer. I genuinely don't know which one of these I liked more, but they're very different. I read Pride and Prejudice for the first time. This is the Enemies to Lovers book. Like, if you like Enemies to Lovers, you ain't seen nothing yet. This is so, oh my God, so good. If you want to get into classics, you need to read this book. You can watch the movie first, because I think that something about classic literature, if you're kind of a slow reader, or if you think that you're not going to get swept up in the language as much, you should just watch the movie, get the context of the story, and then read the book and enjoy the writing, especially with Jane Austen. Jane Austen, I think, writes in very accessible language that is super easily translated to today, but just, wow. These two are, it's hot in here. It is hot in here. I love this book. Some of the best writing I have ever read in my entire life. 5 freaking stars. Isn't that crazy that something written hundreds of years ago can be so relatable to like a crap like this? It's not crap, but stuff like this. Just so fantastic. And I just think that says a lot about Jane Austen, that her writing can still be so relevant today. If you haven't read a Jane Austen book, pick one up. I recommend this one. There you go. Get in your Jane Austen era. I'm sure as hell in mine. Okay, finally, I want to talk about Regretting You by Colleen Hoover, because no one is talking about this book, and they really need to. I just picked this up because I'm trying to go through all of Colleen Hoover's books, and eventually I want to do like a ranking of all of them. But this one, I wasn't expecting much from this. I picked this up because it was like on sale on Amazon. I got this for I think like $6 or $7, and this is the best Colleen Hoover book I have ever read in my life. It's closed door romance, which I honestly prefer, just because I feel like I get more story out of a closed door romance than I do out of a not closed door romance, which is, there's nothing wrong with an explicit romance novel. It doesn't matter. I'll still read it. I do prefer closed door, however. So this is about a mother and daughter, and the mother is kind of like a Gilmore Girls thing. She got pregnant when she was a teenager, and she is kind of looking back on her life and the choices that she made whenever she found out she was pregnant, and trying to navigate life with her teenage daughter, and her teenage daughter also falling in love with a guy who's kind of from the wrong side of the tracks. So I love this. I think that, who's the guy in here? Miller is the boyfriend's name. So I love Miller. He's my favorite Colleen Hoover man ever. And if you read this, you'll understand why. So yeah, if you're trying to get into Colleen Hoover, pick this one up. If you already like Colleen Hoover and you haven't read this, pick it up now, because it will change your life. And not enough people talk about it on that little clock app, and they should. So yeah, those are my summer reads. As you can see, I'm ready for fall. I have my pumpkin blanket out. So I'm kind of transitioning out of my summer reading. There were several that I wanted to get to this summer that I think I'm just gonna save for next summer, because I'm ready for the spooky vibes. I'm ready for some creepy, crawly books. I'm ready for some dark fantasy. I want to finish the Twilight series because I started reading that for the first time this year. And right now I am reading and loving Small Angels by Lauren Owen. This is my current book of the month pick. And yeah, this is all the spooky vibes that you need. It's excellent. Can't wait for Halloween. So yeah, I think that's all I got for you today. I'll see you next time with an Emily Henry ranking, and we'll talk about those, and we'll decide what my favorite Emily Henry book is. But other than that, you can find me on Instagram and TikTok as bookishkimberly, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Say bye-bye. Isn't she sweet? She's sweepy. Okay, bye for real.